Sometimes there's a lag, but I'll wait till I see it go live. And it looks like we are good to go, brother. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come for blockchain education, analysis, and opportunities. My name is Lucas.
And my name is Ryan.
And of course, we've changed our stream time, our weekly update. Full of, if you don't have time to watch this stuff every single day and throughout the day, maybe you look at the market cap, but to understand what's been going on in the world of regulations, worldwide economic news, and just what's going on with different projects, up and coming projects, feel free to hit the notification bell and hit a thumbs up and support us, because we will be doing this once a week, weekly crypto update. And we also look forward to bringing more daily tidbits as news and information gets popping. Our site, of course, is still under construction. Right now, you can support us by honoring Ryan's anniversary of incarnation birthday week. We are continuing to pay it forward. His links are in the description below. So Bitcoin or Ethereum, he's puts a lot of work behind the scenes to get this information and research together. And it is his birthday. So send that birthday month love. And let's take a look. We always like to start, with a live update. All of those weekly news, we like to start off with a little update of the market cap, and see what the prices are doing with the cryptos and see how the market is doing overall. There are several metrics you see here on our site. We've got the tools, Nomics, CoinGecko, CoinPaprika, CoinMarketCap. All four of these will take you links to various sites that are tools for tracking. And they have their benefits. We like Nomics. It tends to show more of the projects in an equitable manner. And one of those being Hex, which is number 3 if you look at its market cap, and it is structured the same way as one of our team members, Jacob, who will be coming up here soon. Wise, these are Ethereum smart contract digital currencies. And if you look at the performance of this over the last year to 2 years, it's absolutely, during bear markets, bull markets, outperformed almost all during most quarters and periods.
It's been fantastic, life-changing for people who got in it. I know around the time we were starting to, when you tipped me off to it, it was under a penny, or right around a penny. And, it's just hard to believe that it's now, I've seen it hit 50 cents, a week ago? It's just crazy. The gains are amazing.
It's retracing a bit, but the fact that we're looking at 43 cents and a year ago, less than, it was under a penny. Mm-hmm. So for the people who, had saw that, I will say that when we look at projects, none of this is financial advice. This is educational information, and for educational entertainment purposes, where we enjoy this, talking about this technology. We enjoy talking about markets and economics and innovation and looking for the opportunities. We are not into trading and getting rich quick. We look at fundamentals, look for quality, innovation, and long-term projects. So that's what brings us to projects like Hex and Wise Token. You look at these are some of the few smart contract platforms that are truly, in many ways, decentralized. And
in a day when you see a lot of red, there are still some opportunities, right? Like Solana, for example, continues to grow even in a FUD environment. Yeah. And there's Hero Coin. I know I don't want to jump the gun, but Hero Coin is just staggering gains today, over 200%,
213.
And then Luna, Coco Swap as well.
So Hero Coin, what do you know about Hero Coin?
Well, from what I have read, and I don't know a lot. I'm sure people, if anybody who's an expert or who's really into it, wants to add more, feel free. But what I do know is that it's a betting platform for esports, and that there's esports games, and you can bet, and if you win, there's a bounty or some sort of a pool that you win, and then you can purchase in-game skins and in-game different collectibles, right? So that's as far as I know. I know it's a predictive market for gaming.
Well, I will say the cancer in me sees that the rank 69, I'm very bullish. I will say that every day for the last few days, look, the last week up 90%, the last month up 23% last year. I keep looking. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll wait. Now I like to support projects that I believe in, or that I in many ways would like to see, and I'm not into gambling. That's not a thing for me, so to speak. So this is an esports gambling protocol. However, I will say that it looks to me that there is opportunity for a lot of growth and a lot of success. We talk about projects. There's so many projects to be involved in and learn about. And there are projects that we're involved with. There's some projects that we're not involved with, that we'd like to. Some that we're not too. You know, there's only so many. When you scroll through the market cap and you see how many cryptocurrencies are there in the top 100, how many cryptocurrencies are even exist? Hundreds of them. And
I think there's thousands now, I believe.
Thousands, and they're changing their ranks every day, right?
And you can't have them all because there's a finite amount of attention and money to go into it, right?
Yep. A lot of these that we see here in the top 100, a week, a month, especially a year from now, spirit willing, we're all sharing this educational information. We can see how this is unfolding and growing together. A lot of these won't exist. They won't be in this. They will have they'll be irrelevant, and there will be new projects. I'm scrolling so fast up and down. There will be new projects involved, right? Now, here's one thing we see. You looked at Solana. Look at Luna, and there's an article and some information I'm really excited to see about that. A lot of these projects, we're seeing a lot of growth. 10% gain, even when Bitcoin's down just a little bit, under 1%. Ethereum's just retracing a bit. 10% in a day. And now, what causes something like that? And there are reasons for it. In the past, 2018 bear market, Bitcoin crashes. In those days, when Bitcoin was going down, Ethereum was going down. Don't you remember a time when everything was going down? Like the whole market was just...
It was red. Just across the board.
It was just bloody red across the board.
In fact, the further you go from the market cap, the more red you saw, the higher the losses, right?
Yep.
Because the alt space would contract even more.
And what we're seeing now is that even in times when look at this, Bitcoin is consolidating. This is what blows my mind. And by the way, this is why we look at fundamentals and quality over short-term trading. Technical information, which we've got a special article with a hamster later on to share about that. But when you look at the fundamentals, think about this. You can go find in the newspaper right now, this is not a conspiracy theory, this is not a belief or a hypothesis. You can go find out that Ukraine right now has passed regulations for accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment, and that El Salvador has accepted it as a regulation for
legal tender.
A legal tender, a regulated tender for currency in its nation. And by giving every one of its citizens a wallet, that's how advanced in many ways.
And a protocol for them to get right out of it.
Now look at this. Look at this. It's down 0.65%.
Right.
You hear MicroStrategy. You hear all these people buying hundreds of Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoin being accumulated, purchased institutionally, with more adoption taking place and being staged to be like the digital gold, so to speak, standard. And I mean, I hope
the good news. It's kind of a mismatch, like the price moving sideways, consolidating, and we have news that would have moved markets so much higher. It would have been such a growth story.
Look at that. Think about that in 2017 or 2018. For that news to come out, I mean, skyrocket. And now that news comes out, and it's like, we're in consolidation phase, and Ethereum.
But behind the scenes, there are institutions loading up, like you said, MicroStrategy. So it's not like the effect. So the effect is being felt in some degree, but the price doesn't reflect it. So it's like there's a deferred price action, kind of. You could say prices are sticky, right?
Yeah, and I would say as above, so below. Don't you see, like you said, prices are sticky. Oftentimes you see a trickle, inflation, the prices to be reflected in wages and in other areas of the market. You don't see these things happen at once. So a lot of these bullish stories, while we see the prices consolidating, and crypto and Bitcoin could easily go down more and consolidate and correct, and it could last that way, as we've seen, for weeks, months, whatever. Right. However, in the background, in the meantime, it continues to be, and which is what our one of our main focal points and passions, it continues to be an innovative technology that has the ability to really improve the welfare of people, improve the efficiency of how we as men and women allocate resources and coordinate information in so many ways. So
the innovation continues, yeah.
Yeah, the innovation.
Even in these consolidation phases. And that's why Luna and Solana and other protocols like Cosmos continue to hold their value and actually appreciate in this sideways market, which is, I think that's kind of the great novelty is we haven't really seen a whole lot of that. Normally these consolidation phases hit everybody, more or less in the same direction. You don't tend to see 10 or 15 or 20 different projects that are continuing to grow during these corrections, right? It's kind of a new thing.
And like, as you said, these are deals. This is not financial advice. And,
right.
And these can easily, as we've seen, especially in the thin altcoin market, Avalanche could go from the beautiful 67, 68 that it is right now with the DeFi growth. And there are many black swans and Polkadot swans and so many events that can happen that can plummet Avalanche back down to 20, 15, 12, lower if, how bleak. Really, the prices can fluctuate drastically and you never know where you're at. But if you look at historically, those who look at projects and get involved in supporting these communities, because we look at this as educational, we're learning a new technology that's untested, we're supporting different communities, and there's all of it's risky for various reasons. But here's what's beautiful about this. And this is different than other institutions in many ways, but in some not. When you take a risk in a new technology like this, you're not just some passive shareholder. In many ways, whether a miner or a staker or a liquidity provider or whatever it is, you are someone who's actually adding value. You're a part of the network. You're adding security. You're allowing this new emerging technology, untested and changing, to exist and to be practiced and tested with. I really hope, and what we hope to do with our channel is to show this to all people in all walks of life. Pardon, I just hit the microphone. And to all people in all walks of life, and because really,
so they can get involved, right?
So they can get involved and allow this, even for those in positions of regulation and in various positions of traditional banking. Once you look at this as not a threat, you recognize that this is something that we all can benefit from together, right? Like, we're all at the beginning stage of this new technology that has the potential to innovate and benefit. One thing I would say this, especially since a lot of our articles, we'll talk about China and then the U.S., but from a U.S. perspective, a free country, freedom of choice, and being pioneers of the Wild West and pioneers in so many things. And I think that having a free market of choice and innovation and allowing, just like El Salvador gives all of its citizens wallets. I'm not saying to go that far, but to allow, I think the U.S. should one-up them, like, it's, since people, like, one-up, keep up with the Joneses, like, oh, I see you gave all your citizens a Bitcoin address. Well, we gave all of our citizens atomic wallets. That's right. They have access to multi-currency, or
would that be something?
Or something, right? So some multi-currency wallet where they control their own keys or something like that, right? Because a stronger and healthier and more robust population of individuals is a stronger, more robust nation, right?
Right.
And
That's true.
This is a new technology that the early adopters and those who can support and be a part of the community, allowing your children and your parents
to benefit,
to be a part of it and experiment. Like there are so many projects. We go through this: Hex, Cardano, Solana, of course, Ethereum didn't pass that up. Bitcoin is actually having.
Let's talk about DYDX, the DEX that's done so good in the last few days. I know we have an article on that.
We pulled up Hero Coin. We talked about it. It's a esports gaming play, but it not to fast forward segue, but we talked about esports and gaming, and you mentioned that there is something about this protocol applied to.
Oh yeah. What if what had my attention is the idea of crowdsourcing predictions, like
prediction
a prediction
markets.
market.
Thank you. That's
right.
It. Yeah.
And their Hero Coin is focusing on gaming, and that's fine. But there's a whole ecosystem of prediction markets based on mainstream finance, right? And those have been proven or shown to be very efficient at kind of grasping at uncertainty, right? Predicting what future events, how they might go, and they've tended to become more accurate than other forms of prediction. So much, they're not perfect, but they're an improvement on, I guess, what came before.
It's between that and a hamster. We'll get to that later.
Right. And it rests on the wisdom of the crowd. It's the law of large numbers idea that when you start getting more and more and more predictions, and you also require people put something up, so you're it's not you don't just get to make a prediction for free, but you actually have to pay a little bit of money, and that limits the quality of the prediction, because if you don't have a firm opinion on something, you won't be willing to put money up for it. But if you do feel strongly about it, you might be willing to pay for the right to predict, and potentially win, if you're right, win some money. So this has proven to be very efficient. So I'm thinking a similar idea on the blockchain is Hero Coin, but that something goes beyond just gaming and maybe considers all kinds of outcomes, right? Whether like who's going to win the next election, or how many storms will be this next year.
You know what? That's exactly. I was just going to say that, brother. You're leading me. You think about this: banana republics, countries that print, trillions or zillions or whatever numbers made up that affect the resource, the welfare of the men and women in that country. There are so many other things that happen that show corruptions or the incentives. There are what's the word for it? We talk the incentives when the moral hazard. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There's a moral hazard involved. And here's what's beautiful about this, and what I want to say, what's really neat about Hero. Sure, it's esports gaming. Maybe it's gambling, and I could be wrong.
No, it is.
Okay, it is. The decentralized solution for iGaming. Gotcha. But check this out. Unlike centralized protocols in the past where people have to use this in order to engage in this activity, now because it's decentralized and it's transparent, the rules, like Bitcoin being a digital gold for reserve currency for people around the world, why people know how much it inflates. We can actually, right.
The code is law, right?
Code is law. And here we see, just like industries where people betting on sports, what have you, has suffered from the house always wins and the centralized perverse incentives. What's neat about this is it's a beautiful example in how blockchain technology can create decentralized solutions that didn't exist before. Right. Yeah. So this is what's really neat about this. Take this to voting. Take this to so many other.
This model could be definitely generalized.
Yeah. So okay, I don't want to drag that on in perpetuity. Let me close out Hero Coin, but that's been going up 200, and I guess that pretty much does our market recap, right? I mean, overall things are consolidating. Although I will say this.
Let's talk about DYDX, the DEX, because they've been doing pretty well.
We will, and let's also talk about this in good faith. It's a weekly update. Welcome to our weekly update here with crypto news over the last week, and obviously what's happening right now every Monday. Sure, that's pumping Hero Coin. Bitcoin may be going down under 1%, Ethereum 2%. but not that long ago, Bitcoin has been pumping a couple percent, 3% for the last few days, and Ethereum was at 10%. At one point, Ethereum was pumping, and is now over $3,000 in Bitcoin. For those of you who are tracking the weekly price, and Bitcoin is over $43,000. So, and it was in the 30s again recently. So, $43,000 up to, and Ethereum is over $3,000. And as we've talked about, Solana, Luna, and others are continuing to grow and taking this opportunity. So, all right, as you said. Let's see here. Oh,
we got to talk about this.
We have to talk. And I put this up here in the front because, as you just mentioned, Luna is doing well right now. And there's a lot of exciting news to go with Luna. And we like to look at these projects that have long-term potential. Luna is the most decentralized stablecoin. And Gary Gensler just recently said, from the U.S. political perspective, regulatory perspective, that because Bitcoin and Ethereum were the most decentralized, they were the ones that were not considered securities. Well, one of the things that separates Luna from other stablecoins is that this is actually a decentralized stablecoin. And this decentralized stablecoin, where Luna backs the UST, the stable coin, and Luna is the asset that is burnt or acquired, and the price reflects its demand in order to keep the UST stable. It's brilliant, it's beautiful, it's decentralized, it's run on blockchain, by blockchain, and a lot of these things you all just recognize that you're in the beginning of beautiful solutions that are just now unfolding. And this article...
Isn't the buzz about them joining the IBC protocol?
That's it. Columbus 5 is what they're calling the upgrade. It's coming out, I think, relatively soon. It's been postponed for here after a while, but I think in the next few days, in the next week or so, before the month is over with, potentially, which is, I guess, a couple days away, we're looking at Columbus 5, Luna, UST. Now, I don't know, we should come back to this later, but you all know how Cosmos and the IBC network, how bullish we are on those projects, just like Osmosis, which we'll get interactive, we'll get into it. But what that means is, and what we should look at, not just Osmosis, but the Ameris DEX, because these are platforms. Imagine right now, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, all of these different... You're going to like this, Ryan. I found this from another YouTuber. I need to shout him out if I remember. Map. There we go. Map of zones. Imagine if, without having to lock liquidity on one Uniswap to another, imagine if you could have communicating blockchains where you could go from Ethereum to Bitcoin in various ways. Oh my, growing. No, that's hilarious. That's not what I was... Map. That's not it. Shucks.
So like a blockchain of blockchains?
There it is. There it is. There it is.
We're talking about
Cosmos, mapofzones.com.
Okay.
You're going to dig this. I should link this below. You need to catch up on our descriptions, but your support helps. And here it is. This is a link of, these are the different blockchains. The Akash network. E-money is what you talked about, which is what's coming up.
We're about to talk about
talk about. Osmosis, which we'll show later, and we've talked about, which is a beautiful AMM DEX where you're able to come in and out of all of these different blockchains through Osmosis. And there's another DEX, but all these blockchains, you can just come in and out. Everything built on the IBC Cosmosis. And what is being married onto this platform is through what we were just talking about, this article, Columbus 5. It's saying that all these protocols, pardon me,
will now be interoperable with Terra Luna, right?
Which is the decentralized, up-and-coming, one of the most powerful stable coins in cryptocurrency. Right. So as more people flight to quality, as we talk about in economics, a flight to real goods or a flight to quality, we might see a lot of stablecoin projects come to Luna, come to UST. When you have here's what's beautiful. You have a Luna wallet. Your Luna wallet, you can easily just go in and out of UST to Luna right from your wallet because you're part of the blockchain.
Yes.
It's not where you need to go somewhere and go to a DEX and hope that there's enough liquidity. It's you literally create it and become a part of the network and help grow the UST and the Luna and the value. So it's beautiful. It's going to be coming on to this IBC map of zones, and it's continuing to grow. Sentinel, decentralized VPNs, Crypto.org. There are certain, I think there's Visa cards right now that from their you sign up with them, correct?
Payment cards. That's
payment
right.
Cards. So these are absolutely and persistence, liquid,
and I think
staking. I mean, I don't even get into this in their airdrop. By the way, airdrops. Another thing about why we're bullish about this, when you support these systems, Akash, Cosmos, Osmosis, just by staking and securing the platform, not only do you receive rewards directly as a staker through these networks, but how revolutionary is this? You get airdrops. You literally get free shares, so to speak, of those new ventures that are built on these platforms that say, hey, you know what? I like that blockchain. I want to build and add value to that blockchain. That's equivalent to if banks right now, do you want to go on this analogy?
Oh, right. The toaster.
It's equivalent to where, imagine right now, if your modern bank, you opened up your bank account and all of a sudden you had shares of a company and they said, oh, well, because of your savings and your accounts that we use to invest, I know they don't technically, but the value that we use to grow our portfolio,
we're going to give you a little kickback.
We're going to give you a kickback of what we've grown. And that's
everybody wins.
That's what these protocols are doing. It's revolutionizing DeFi banking. It's revolutionizing it to where instead of a few small groups of people get to benefit from the value that everyone brings to finance and lending.
It'd be like if they took the late fees and the overdraft fees and then just redistributed them across all account holders based on a fraction of how much they have in their account.
Sure.
That would be essentially what we're talking about.
Absolutely. And from other benefits that the banks are able to earn value and grow value based upon the value provided by the customers or the clients, whatever word you want to use.
I just want to respond. We're doing great unfoldment. It's a beautiful Monday here in Texas, and I'm doing fine. I don't want to speak for Lucas, but life is good. How are you?
You can speak for me on that, brother. We're blessed. If we're here doing a live stream and our weekly updates and continuing to grow this channel and share blockchain education, hopefully we'll see Jacob is going to pop up here pretty soon, and he's got some stuff to share. He says what we're getting to is pretty powerful, and I always love Unfoldment 33's adds a lot of value. He's been a member of the community, is definitely a blockchain ambassador and educator, and is into spiritual growth and using this technology to make the world and ourselves make the world a better place. I love the mushroom glyph. Thank you, brother. So, but man, we miss so Jacob's not going to be able to make it, but we do miss our partner, our teammate, and he will be around in the future, and look forward to the value and the research that he brings, because look forward to a lot of what he has to share. But we also have a lot more to share and to get through today. So, Jacob, we salute you, brother. We're sending you some love, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. Absolutely, on many fronts to help grow Wise Beyond Bitcoin and add value to it, because he sure does do a lot of great research into the projects and nuances in crypto. So, without further ado, this IBC network, Cosmos, which is very similar to the Tendermint that Polkadot is built on. There is actually a very beautiful, solid, when you look at the technical background behind Cosmos, it's sound, it's glorious in the world of crypto and blockchain technology. It's not a fly-by-night. In fact, did we look at an article? I don't know if I heard somewhere, but maybe it was a video I saw in some research. Cosmos, many people petitioned Binance back in the days to be listed so that they could get market exposure. Cosmos, the team, because their technology and what they're working on is so painstakingly meant to be solid and They don't ask for anyone. And Binance listed them without hesitation because in recognition of furthering blockchain and what they are. So that's a beautiful shout out. It's still early, still just the beginning. Adding stable coins to this mix, adding
that's huge.
Decentralized stable coins to this mix. What do you think that does to Sentinel? What do you think that does to Akash?
Yeah, it's huge.
And look,
the network effect is kind of the pathway.
Euros, decentralized euros and dollars amidst all these beautiful protocols. And what's beautiful is that I think in many ways, maybe people working in the U.S. regulatory areas are misunderstood because you've heard good things like you mentioned. Gary Gensler's talked about many projects aren't truly decentralized. Well, they're not saying anything about the projects that are. And I think they have a point. I mean, I don't think, obviously.
They certainly do. Yeah.
Certainly have a point. And there are many projects that are listed with a token that you can invest in that are not decentralized.
They do sound like securities.
And they do sound like securities. So when you can get to protocols that are truly building blockchain into a decentralized network where it's decentralized, autonomous, organization driven, which is something that will be brought to you by Jacob, and we'll be doing a special update on that soon.
Well, to your point, I think that the growing move to regulate DeFi and stablecoins is really going to help projects.
It's going to clean up. We're going to see a lot of projects go away, and then we're going to see a lot of projects explode because they're going to be like, okay, you know what? You guys are purely decentralized. There's no real attack vector of worry.
Point of failure.
And I would also like to point, what did I just click on? It would be nice to see in good faith a lot of the regulation efforts. We saw BitConnect. We see. You know what, on YouTube, with all the good hard work that crypto ambassadors do out there, Coin Bureau, BitBoy, altcoin. I'll go down the list. We actually have it on our website of so many crypto ambassadors that educate and add value to the space. All these people, you can go on YouTube, which many people do. It's one of the larger platforms in the world. And you'll find advertisements that are fake, offering, if people give them cryptocurrency, that it's going to double their crypto. Send us crypto. It's my teleputer and it's Charles. It'll look so real. And these people are just getting away with it. YouTube is centralized. They will boot you and kick you off if you're like, hey, I learned how to turn water into gasoline. It's like, hey, get out of here.
Run a scam and pay the ads.
But run a scam and pay for the ad fees, and you get away. There's all day long. And whatever that gentleman's name, the Apple, EWB, the energy token supporter, Wozniak, he made a big video about how he begged and pleaded. He's got so many resources. He begged and pleaded YouTube to prevent scammers from his channel and his stuff, and he couldn't get through. So
couldn't get them off.
It's like it would be nice to see in these major platforms that so many people are affected by, and more people lose money. I bet if you tally all the people who lose money in just to these scams on these centralized protocols and these BitConnects. Look, we saw in our last week how Twitter is what prevented an insider trading scam. Not
on OpenSea, they discovered it.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's kind of my favorite point. Is like I'm down with regulation to the extent that it's done in a way that does benefit the market. But before we just throw all our eggs and faith into that basket, let's maybe see these entities do something that's actually helpful for a change, like for them to prove their utility before we trust them and give them the keys to the city, right? Because we know how important finance and money is for an economy, and you don't want to take undue risks with that sort of a thing, because it's just it's interwoven to so much of our society through exchange and through prices and through just the way that markets are set up. It's very important in a market society to have some sound money or some sound financial system. So you don't want to really risk these things on a whim, right? And so I just finished this line of thought off by saying let's be more careful and experimental in our thinking about regulation, and especially because the regulators had no hand in building this, and they've proven that even in the system they do regulate, there's many failures and misses, and there's opportunity to do a lot better on their part. So it's not
worldwide.
clear.
What you're saying is not limited to the U.S. I mean, we're about to get at China, Evergrande, Evergrande. There's the Texan. There's many different ways, but the Chinese, which is China, systemic, huge. Yes. Has this happened in the U.S. multiple times? Yes. There's no pointing fingers at this point. It seems like it's just systemic in how the traditional financial markets work, and we're seeing this over and over again. Whether or not you have a complete centralized Communist Party control of the real estate and financial markets, or you have a Wall Street, banking controlled quasi free market, however you want to describe it.
Or do you have the European Union and their way they do things in a different manner? So they all seem to have the same flaws and not the same flaws, but the same propensity for crisis.
Yes.
Put it that way.
Because we're on the topic, I just want to shout out some love. So 12 points. It's just been like 3 days. Boom. Look, that. I mean, you're looking at what was in between. Now it's correcting with the rest of the market, but still, I mean, from going up and just less than a month ago around $2, under $2, just over $2, and we're looking at
$7 a few days ago.
Yes, a few days ago, and on what was around 3,000 started with, in between 3 to 4 now, is still daily liquid, paying out. 4 times 5, over $20 valued, daily. It was $20 to $30 a day, and as the value goes down, so will that daily return. But that's literally, you can go take that right now, get stable coins. You can get Bitcoin, you can get Ethereum, you can stake it, you can diversify into other projects. You can continue to support the network and stake it directly. You can trade it, which there's soon to be. What we're talking about here is, as you come to this in the future, one of these is going to be Luna UST. You'll be able to get Luna directly on here. Open up your own Luna wallet and have access to supporting and minting the stablecoin market, right? Atom, Cosmos, all these different blockchains you have access to from the Osmosis network, and there are more as well. So this is beautiful, and it's interactive. You vote, you partake. Let's see if we have time. Let's come back to this later, because I know we're making tracks. Of course, here's our website, bookmark Wise Beyond Bitcoin. You've thumbs up and hit the notification bell to show us love and support. And we are donating and sending love to the channel, as right now is sending birthday love to Ryan. We're powering through the weekly update. Luna Terra, we're bullish on Cosmos. We're bullish on IBC. It is a vast network of decentralized blockchain protocols, and it's just beginning to emerge. So that's that. And then you said, let's talk about DYDX.
Yeah.
The XY axis, the decentralized Y and the decentralized X axis. I love the imagery.
The math reference.
Math, absolutely. So, what do you know about this protocol? I actually pulled up the site. I have not, we're not into trading. We don't, I don't,
Well, we're not trying to say buy this, because it could easily correct. But what we do know is that it's a decentralized exchange. It's a DEX.
Yep.
And it's rumored to have, we can explore this, but the word is that it has more features than a standard AMM, where you can where in a standard AMM, you'll pull up your wallet and you'll connect your wallet to the website, and you'll figure out how much of the token you want to exchange, right, into another. And then you hit swap, and it's a matter of gas fees and everything, and confirm it. But there's never any real question about limit orders. Like, you can't, for example, you can't choose the price that you're trading at, right? You just take the price that's generated by the automatic market maker. So you're not looking at quotes. You're not looking at there's not a bid-ask spread, which is a typical thing. So this DEX is different in that it does have more functionality for like a trading perspective, for a trading found footing on for a DEX, right? So you can pick, okay, at what price you're willing to trade, and if that trade's not available, then the order will not be executed. And I'm sure there's stop loss levels that are involved, and I'm no doubt we need to explore this more, but I wouldn't be surprised if leverage trading is not a part of this.
We do. And I'll tell you, this looks amazing, and I'm excited to find a way to support it and become involved. It's the fastest and most powerful decentralized exchange, layer 2. I believe this is built on Ethereum, correct? I believe so.
Yeah, it's on Ethereum.
Of course.
Based on smart contracts. There's lending and
borrowing. Of course it is. What am I talking about? Duh. Look at the assets. Okay.
And there's trading on.
Here we go.
There's spot trading and margin trading. So there is leverage options here.
So check this out. This is beautiful. And look, Cosmos and so many projects, Avalanche. I'm sure all the liquidity that's locked and wrapped on Ethereum is what this is accessing, right? Because Avalanche is wrapped on Uniswap and SushiSwap. So a lot of these AMMs, they support their liquidity or curve, right? There's access to liquidity in a decentralized way with these layer 2s. I believe.
Right.
And
especially, that's how that works.
So think about the liquidity and the robustness this really adds to the market when you allow people to say, hey, you know what, I will at this price execute a contract for this amount, and you let these order books to fill, and you let more people into the market. So, and this is a decentralized, just like we talked about Hero Coin, these decentralized protocols are looking at taking the rewards being scraped by the house, where the house always wins, and offered to you from Robinhoods with secretive clearing houses operating in the background that they deal with your trades. So there's
they get order flow and sold.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about, and I think this maybe is why people like Gary Gensler are saying support truly decentralized projects, because those projects that are open source and decentralized are here to revolutionize human communication and exchange to truly make the world a better place and to add security. So I think that it's going to be exciting to see in this Cold War race, to see how many people around the world, and I would love to see, having had different experience in my life, working in different levels, and having experience, as a citizen in the United States and experienced things, military and gone overseas and all that stuff. I would love to see the United States make a bullish move, not just with allowing institutions to kind of make announcements and trickle in, but really to make a bullish move towards allowing U.S. citizens and people all over the country to have really not just equal access, but a leg up.
Unfettered access.
Unfettered access and kind of a leg up, because this, in many ways, for financial systems that are suffering, and this in many ways can be the bailout and the rush to the
people's bailout.
The people's bailout and insolvency that gets a lot of people and institutions off the hook of, $1 trillion, $1 bazillion. At this point, it's just numbers made up that can be used now like a credit card that are never intended to be paid off. Like, no one's expecting your grandchildren, children, to pay off the $1 trillion, trillions of bazillion, whatever it is, right? So this is like an Etch-a-Sketch washing clean of the system that is just continues to compound debt to systems that are based on transparency and open source decentralized technology that are over collateralized, and
right.
So we'll see how things unfold. At least
that's a nice segue into our the pink elephant, right, in the room.
Yeah, and I would say this.
China.
I would say this. At least it would be nice to see in the mode of transparency and opportunity a 2, 3, 4 year a grace period where people are allowed to explore and technology to flourish. Because how can you regulate when you look at Evergrande and Wells Fargo and Enron, all these institutional failures, when there's heavy oversight and regulations all over the place? A new technology where Twitter members and people in the communities are the ones who are actually doing a better job, not because of some moral, ethical reasons, but because it's like the people who know about decentralized application, the people who are building it, supporting it, and regulators of traditional finance don't really understand and see where the flaws are. So in good faith, they're not maliciously preventing. It's just that they don't have yet the tools. I see they have the tools to monitor blockchain addresses and find out, those kinds of metrics, but yet the ability to come into projects and find, bad actors is not something. BitConnects, those kinds of things to be done. So it'll be nice to see like an open, grace period of allowing the technology, and then that way people can see where the problems are. It's when you allow projects to grow and flourish in an atmosphere that you can see, oh, okay, you know what? Here's where some problems are. Here's where some problems are. Here's a place for growth. All right.
Well, here's a story about a nation that's not interested in seeing where the problems are. They're interested in being a problem and saying no to the whole thing, right?
Oh, okay. So I'm skipping the osmosis e-money because we kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can go into that. Yeah.
Let's just
real briefly.
Briefly, because we already pulled up. Oh my gosh! What am I talking about? The euro, first stablecoin to be listed on Osmosis. Hello. Okay.
Yep.
App.osmosis.com. If you want to learn not just about the projects, but also how to become involved, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because within the next week we will actually have how you can download your own Kepler wallet, which is a Web3. It's like an email address. It's basically like your own email address for this blockchain. How you can have your own free email wallet address for interacting. You can do it from your, it's from your phone. It's from your computer. I don't believe it's mobile quite yet. But we'll show you how to do it, and it's typically how all crypto wallets work. So it's a good introduction. We will do more. But yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple, and to become a part of these networks and to secure them. Not financial advice. I've lived through it. I can almost see the whole markets tumble 50, 60, 70% and stay that way for weeks and then come back later when no one's paying attention. So we're not looking at get rich quick prices. But when you look at the activity, euros, decentralized euros having access, decentralized dollars having access. This is like if Uniswap and Ethereum showed the potential of what could be done in last year and the last couple years of cryptocurrency blockchain. These are the networks that are going to make it happen. They're taking that knowledge. They're standing on the shoulders of those giants. And when you do a transaction on these networks, it's free. It's pennies. It's less than a penny often, and it's just the beginning. So,
and there's a new stablecoin coming to Cosmos, Osmosis, that whole ecosystem.
Yep.
From what's the company? E-money.
E-money.
Yeah, and they're going to call this the E-Euro.
E-money. That sounds like a very.
It sounds like the euro, right?
Is that it sounds like a hip hop. It sounds like someone's name, a rapper. It sounds like. There's an E-money. E-money and Osmosis team up.
But hey, it's great because it's bringing a different ecosystem onto that and bridging it with Cosmos, which is all for the best. It'll increase the network effects on both sides.
To make eEuro the first stablecoin to be listed on Osmosis AMM Decentralized Exchange. This is beautiful, and yes, look forward to sharing more about the growth of this platform.
But really what we need to talk about, I think, because it's such a big part of what's going on right now, is the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's coming from China. And they're just across the board ban on all things crypto, mining, trading, sending.
So you're saying the dialectic, the yin yang, it's not just, we looked at a consolidating market. There's some bullish coins. We tried to talk about what's the good news going on in the growth patterns and what's happening with Luna and Y and IBC. And you're saying you can't, the pink elephant, or in this case, the red elephant in the
red
room
elephant
cannot be ignored because...
No.
Okay. Well,
it's what's moving. That's why everything's red. I mean, if you want to be real, that's what's going on. We're in a corrective phase, and this is a lot to do with why.
May I diverge you to get you on a tangent with what you just said? So look at the influence that China's huge hundred billions, several hundred billion, the Evergrande.
The Evergrande thing. Yeah.
How something is systemic and it leads to, obviously 401ks, pension funds, investments from other countries, corporations. And this is a worldwide. Well, when we look at the Great Depression, when we look back from an economics perspective or other markets, you do find in these huge, the real estate market here in the U.S., when it had an impact on economies in other countries. So this isn't the first time you see a major market, systemic problem,
right,
ripple out to the world, and lead to recessions and depressions and have influences. I mean, the stock market.
Well, this might actually be part of the context that we can think about this ban. I mean, consider this: if your economy, you're the Communist Party, and you know that your economy has elements of systemic risk, whether it's Evergrande or other investments and companies, and that this could blow up and become a problem, that threatens the financial stability of the economy, then you really aren't excited about seeing an alternative financial ecosystem spring up, which could end up being a destination for people to get out of the systemic risk side or the systemic risks in those investments, and they could move over to this new innovative emerging market. And so you really aren't interested in that option because it creates even more risks on top of if you've got fragility and you've got some risks. The last thing you want is people hitting the doors and selling out of those positions and getting into an alternative ecosystem, because that will make it even more pronounced, right? The losses will be even further, and it will also kind of keep your game of stability and the whole goal of stability. It makes it even more difficult because there's an option that people can choose, and obviously if there's lots of risks, they'll leave the risky side and they'll go where they're to the over collateralized options, right? So I feel like that's part of this, is that there's a desire to cut off those other options, and it's all with an eye to preserving interest and demand for the products of the institutions that are legacy institutions.
And we'll see how quickly, because as we've all recognized, the news changes from day to day, from week to week. We could find that China cracks down on a lot of the issues. They shored up a lot of the problems, and they've opened up, some markets, and we see a lot of support and growth. Because in many ways, I feel they were ahead of the curve with the mining. I feel that the whole energy issues were overblown, out of proportion, and undue. I think that China's ability to mine should not be scoffed at worldwide, regardless if it's powered by coal or what have you. The reality is most power plants all over the world are powered by coal and natural gas and fossil fuels. That's just how modern worlds are powered. And and when we look at the value that this technology brings, the amount of energy it takes to mine it is just a sliver compared to the utility and the value and the innovation that cryptocurrency and blockchain and those technologies being built on this bring. So it's silly to talk about the energy. That's like to talk about air conditioners
and their waste of energy they create.
And the waste of energy that they create. It's like, this is what people go out and get energy for.
Right.
use it for these. Like, we would like to use energy not only to have air conditioning and lights, but we'd also like to use energy to not have to depend upon people that have moral hazards and perverse incentives and corruptions, to be in charge of systems that everyone is dependent upon, to decentralize, use technology that makes it transparent and ethical. Wow. Yeah. I'll plug in.
That's a good trade-off.
That's a good trade-off. I'll plug in a computer for that, So, okay.
Well, what's the next story?
Did you get this? China's top regulators banned crypto trading, mining, sending Bitcoin tumbling. Now, I do want to remark, this could be the one, and I'm wrong. But historically, China banning crypto, this might be the one. If someone's there to count how many times China has banned crypto, it's almost like Olympic gold medals. We should have how many times the U.S., China, have all the times different countries or states announce the banning of something, and then get to the root of what's being. If it's illegal trading activity, then that's different.
Well, I think in May, it shows you right here in May that they decided to ban financial institutions and payment companies from providing services related to crypto transactions. So that was that first level. Now they're stepping it up, and they're just banning everything related at all, whether it's mining or any sort of activities at all.
So we're seeing from an institutional level, from a top down, a top approach that, hopefully
it's ratcheting up.
Hopefully it's temporary, and because there are many people that could suffer by. It's like if you have gold in a country and the nation says, black market, we're banning gold, so you're gonna have to leave this country and find some place to spend your gold, because if we find you with it, we're taking it from you.
Well, part of this is kind of why I expect the DeFi space to do so well, because people are going to be leaving the exchanges that are rooted in a certain nation state or a locale, and they're going to be moving towards more decentralized options. And you can imagine Chinese people with VPNs and Tor and Tails going the extra mile.
I've actually got this article up. China's
talk about it now.
Ban on crypto has sent traders piling into DEXs, decentralized exchanges. So look, if you would like to go back and have an understanding, I'm looking into crypto as you would stocks or markets in general, this is not financial advice, and you're like, well, what is the future? Well, the future for people, whether it's in a banana republic or in China or the U.S. or Canada or the Cayman Islands or whatever, okay? If some political party's in charge and they're making it difficult for certain people to move out of real estate or to move into crypto or different technologies, it's going to take those people who are trying to push these technologies forward and support them and secure them. They're going to have to find other ways. The beautiful thing about blockchain, and here's, I think, what could be something that's neat. What if this is a worldwide push, and I know it was a indirect way, to clean up the projects that aren't truly decentralized? Because DEXs are decentralized applications that if you're in a centralized exchange, a KEX or whatever you want to call it, well, then that's something that there's a point of failure, because that's something, right, that people can go after and say, hey, let me see what's going on in your trading and who's in charge.
You can attack the server.
You can attack this. But if it's a decentralized exchange that's built on blockchain technology like Ethereum and like Bitcoin, smart contracts, then these are programs that I think maybe in many ways should be supported by people in different nation states of authority. Because really,
they don't seem to meet the criteria of what they're looking at.
No.
And that's why people are flocking, as this article talks about.
That's it. But we'll look at later on. Avalanche has some decentralized exchanges: Osmosis, Cosmos, Secret, Harmony. I mean, there are so many of these protocols that are operating these beautiful projects, and getting involved, supporting them after learning about them, if you so choose. That's, I think, the future. And that's what really blockchain is all about. Just as Bitcoin, why do we talk about staking, securing, becoming a member, not looking at it from some investment perspective, but looking at it from an educational and being a part of it? Why is that? Well, if you were to be involved in Bitcoin early on, how would you have done that? How would you have been involved in Bitcoin? By mining
bought it and held it.
and mining it.
Oh, okay, you could have mined. You could have ran a node. Yeah, you could have mined it. Right.
It used to be to where anyone could run a node from their computer.
Right.
You didn't require these ASIC miners, right? I mean,
right.
And to support the network, be a part of it. That's Bitcoin is built on supporting the network by being a part of it. And that's the future of blockchain, is rewarding those people. Think about
the network.
Think about these different networks you want to be a part of. That's the way I look at it. Go to the Cardanos, the Ethereums, the Polkadots and Kusamas. Look up the founders. Look up how decentralized they are. Many of them are built with a quasi-centralized beginning, with a decentralized autonomous organization voting, and a way to give it away back to the community. So it's very innovative. It's very neat to see what's going on. And it is... like, if this was a seed planted in the soil, I would say that it's like the first leaf set, if that. It's just emerging from the soil.
It's super early.
It's so early. You don't even know which ones are going to survive. Which one? What? You don't even know. Is this broccoli? Is this radishes? Is it what? Right. I don't even know. Well, you should have labeled it, by the way. And that's reading the white paper. But anyway,
let's go to this next story, because it's connected to what we just talked about with China.
The second largest Ethereum mining pool to suspend all operations.
Yes, Spark Pool. Now, it makes me wonder, if they're 22% of their hash, of Ethereum's hash rate, what's this going to do to gas prices in the short term?
Well, we have an article to talk about that later. I don't think that's the cause of it.
No, but it's in the same vein.
It definitely could spark and slow down the network as well. However... computer technology and what's going on around the world, I do we said Cold War for Bitcoin. We're going to see the opposite of a Cold War, instead of a war,
arms race,
a cold race to where people are farming together and people are seeing who can grow larger aspects of the network together. We may see certain countries really grow Cardano. And not larger aspects of the countries, like a melting pot, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the United States. You've got large people who identify themselves as Republicans, Democrats, Christians,
everything in between,
all Jewish, Muslim. Go down the gamut. There's so many ways people.
There's 70 different genders.
You go down the ways people identify themselves.
Right.
And that's how many networks people could choose to support that they identify with.
Right.
And we could see large groups of Cardano and Ethereum holders over here. And look, that's what's cool about how decentralized blockchain is you can be in your home, flip open your computer, and be supporting Cosmos right next to your neighbor who's supporting Ethereum, and you don't have to know about it.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all sort of thing.
And you can be supporting multiple networks, right? So, but
you want to switch over to the U.S. regulatory stories now? I
guess so. Let's leave China. That's been the big news. Everyone's heard Evergrande. I think, did we talk about that last week? It's over a week old. So
we talked about Evergrande.
It's going to be around the ripple effect in the market, and we'll see how long this lasts and what different countries do to shore up their markets and show competence.
Right.
In fact, moving forward to the U.S., and I will exit this because the SEC is a regulatory board, successfully puts DeFi on notice. Let's talk about, China, Evergrande, the U.S., SEC, and the Treasury, and regulation about DeFi and blockchain. But we see where's the competence in traditional finance. We see that even these markets where you're in charge, you license, you regulate, you have oversight, and to the most in these, and yet they still, to the tunes of hundreds of billions and millions of dollars, fail so much so that it affects people all over the world that aren't even part of these, don't even own shares. Like, wow, you affect the economy so poorly. It's such a drastic effect. Now, I think in many aspects of cryptocurrency, we see the same fragility because it's a young, thin market, and if there's a big problem with the DEX, it can affect a lot of people. But there's also a collateralization, a transparency, and a limit because of the different blockchain. That's what's beautiful about different blockchains and different protocols. There's a limit to the failure that can affect
because it's decentralized by its nature.
Yeah. So the SEC successfully puts DeFi on notice, saying, "Hey, DeFi,
watch your back.
Watch out." And crypto whales are taking notice. Well, fortunately, with the we don't have crypto whales here as members or yet supporters, but you're welcome to check out the donation address below. And right now, pretend it's supporting the channel because Ryan is a very integral part of the channel, and he is celebrating his birthday. He's not just an economics enthusiast, blockchain enthusiast, educator, supporter, but a father, a husband, and so show him love. And his Bitcoin and Ethereum address is down below, and that's that. And let's make him a whale.
If you approve, if you like what we're doing, yeah.
If you like,
don't feel obligated.
Yeah, exactly. Don't feel obligated.
But yeah, if you like, spread the love.
But if there's a way we can do a little kind of guilt trip, it's
yeah, right.
Okay. I mean,
this story is I found this interesting. So Coinbase went out of its way to talk to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and say, hey, we want to offer this product. It's going to be called Lend, and it's going to be a borrow lending protocol that allows their users to earn around 4% in stable coins for lending their stable coins. And Coinbase so basically saying, hey, what do we need to do to get this approved? And the SEC said, nah, not having it. We don't care. We're not looking at it. We're not even gonna give you any guidance on what you need to change to make this work. We're just gonna say no to it completely. And so Coinbase said, okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to scrap that idea. And basically what this is along with other statements by the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, essentially what's going on is they're announcing that they have DeFi and these interest-bearing crypto protocols. They have these in their sites, and that they are considering imminent regulation. Now, the response to that is always that not all DeFi is equal. There are some protocols that are more centralized than others, and the thinking is that they'll probably go after the more centralized and larger platforms.
We talk about the Nirvana fallacy and comparing why compare blockchain to a double standard that you don't compare traditional finance? When people engage in supporting different companies through shares and stocks, they're not all the same. There's different blue chips, red chips, pink chips, Polkadot, purple, yellow.
Penny stocks.
There's different levels of risk, and there is no way you can know how systemic. There's always at some point people just have to accept that you can't baby people so much, especially when it's open source and transparent protocols and built with people writing code. It's code is law scenario. I mean, at some point.
Well, it's telling that they're focusing on stable coins, the interest-bearing, the very secure, over-collateralized, interest-bearing option, right? Because why is that telling? Because it so directly threatens their banking system, their model, where you just essentially get 0% interest on your CDs. That's why they're so focused on that. I believe
it would be nice to figure out a way for a write-off to where maybe they take time to allow to where Coinbase isn't the only one, but the reality is to allow people all over the country to have access. Look at when the country and the world's going through recessions and depressions and high inflation, and you have built on DeFi, built on the back of blockchain, you have a company that is a traded U.S. corporation. It's a completely legitimate and vetted organization, offering 4%. I'm trying to find out where I keep scrolling so fast up and down. Where is it? 4%.
Very tough.
Offering 4% on stablecoins, 4% on dollars, 4%. So, and why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. There's a value. Right now, the economy is built on traditional finance and paper money and non-blockchain, non-decentralized markets. The more people that come over are the more people that add value and support that network, whether it's through stable coins or whether it's directly in Bitcoin, Ethereum. If you're saying, you know what, I like blockchain, but I don't like Bitcoin, or I like blockchain, but I don't like Ethereum, and you want to keep your money in dollars, blockchain, stable coins, you can earn very high rates of return because you're actually adding real value by bringing your dollars into these decentralized platforms, networks. You will earn 4%. Now that's Coinbase was offering 4%. In many decentralized applications, you're getting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20%, depending upon whether you're in this protocol, that protocol. I mean, it depends upon what is it? It's like a candy land. I mean, you walk around, and it's because it's a young, emerging market. I think that the people in the U.S. financial markets and those in positions of politics have a very just a great opportunity to, first of all, strengthen the U.S. dollar, because there are so many collateral-backed stable coins in UST and USD. And so there are ways, maybe it could be an opportunity to get certain things in place and then announcing more open arms, because the chain is the strongest, weakest link. And if right now when people are struggling in a debt economy to be able to survive, and especially after the pandemic influence on the economy, to be able to say, boom, you know what? Open up, let UST, let UST flourish, and let the people explore and add value with the risk and with the caveat. This is not FDIC insured or whatever is the regulators do look at and vet, say there should be, if you're a Gemini, Coinbase, a U.S. centralized exchange, then you should. There's some check mark needs to be by the things that are vetted and that we look at and have a stamp of approval, and things that aren't, so that people know. You know, if there's some kind of give and take, like you say, if there's some kind of a service offered by this regulation and oversight, and then allow people to say, if you don't get this stamp of a check mark, then whatever you put in there is at your own risk. And there should be a 2, 3, 4 year, no heavy regulation or rules, because people should have the time. It should be education. That's what it should be. For the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to pump out education on blockchain, on its potential, on its innovation, and we want people to go to the voting booth and to ask their legislators and their senators and to ask their presidents to say, hey, I would like to see you support this. I would like to see more of this and blockchain used for this. We would like to see educated population, not an ignorant population that has no idea what's going on, and you have no idea. But so
populations definitely doesn't seem to be asking their representatives for more regulation. This is coming from the representatives themselves in the industries. I'm sure they're lobbied by.
Yeah, and if it may seem like bad news, I think it's actually really good news. SEC successfully puts DeFi on notice. Let's see how this works to clean out, because you know what? Mm-hmm. There are a lot of horrible projects on DeFi applications that are scams, and if there's some way that can be communicated through these dexes to let people know this project is locked liquidity. This project is not, how much lock. I mean, these things matter and add security and value. That's where you'll start looking at things like Wise Token, like projects that have locked liquidity should get automatic, check mark. Whatever you look at for the tokenomics, this project, the liquidity is not something that can be run away with by. But so
that's a good segue to this next article.
The crypto crackdown is a big opportunity for America. Can I say that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to lead into. Is that this is actually China's crypto crackdown is an opportunity for America.
Yeah.
To be a home for the innovation, to be open and supportive of this emerging industry.
So basically,
and all the benefits that would come from investment flowing into the United States and out of nations like China.
Awesome. So let's Gary Gensler is not a lone man. America is built on a balance of powers, and the judicial branch, the executive, and the legislative, and all those.
Here's a good quote.
Things.
This is Senator Jimmy. He says, "Economic liberty leads to faster growth and ultimately a higher standard of living for everyone." Yeah, so that's it is right there. Is that being open to this innovation will ultimately make everybody better off. Just kind of like being open to the loom or the printing
right.
press.
He argued while he pointed out that China's hostility towards economic freedom slams the door shut for what is arguably the most exciting innovation in finance. He says in decades. I would say
probably longer.
Centuries. I mean, this is an innovation that's more than just finance.
I would say it maybe can be compared to double entry bookkeeping.
I would say that's huge.
Was that a fair?
That's fair.
Fair comment.
And that's fair. Think about that. Double entry bookkeeping, what that did for capital, what that did for calculation, what that did for humanity. That's what we're talking about, blockchain technology. So at some point, it's like, if you're Gary Gensler's wife, children, uncles, his dad or mom, hey, look, if you're his parents, it'd be like, yo, son, hey, time out. Don't get drunk on power here. You work on traditional market. What's going on? I mean, we are listening to what Toomey's saying, and even Gary Gensler needs to be given a wallet address and some crypto. In fact, Ethereum, there should be like a charity of supporting members of politics with their own wallets. And I mean this seriously.
Well, they're used to receiving money from the public in one way or another, so it wouldn't be too foreign.
In good faith, a fund to say, you get a free wallet that has all of these different crypto assets that have been put forward by the community, and all is asked for is in good faith, you as a member of humankind, as humanity, you as someone who's a part of technology together, to benefit from this, because this is something that's going to be around, blockchain, after we're gone. Blockchain is one of those things that's a technology. It's a use of technology it's like passing on knowledge through books and information.
Hey, there's a key quote in that article we should jump on before we go to the next one.
Do it.
It's at the very end, and it's one of the questions that Senator Toomey posed to Gary Gensler. He sent him 25 questions, and one of them was for asking Gensler to elaborate on what the threshold for a token to be deemed decentralized is. So he's getting him to clarify what does a decentralized token look like? What's the threshold?
Right.
And I think that's important, because now with that kind of a question, once we get an answer, we know what the characteristics need to be for the next for what we need. How do we need to change? If your protocol or project's on the fence and there's elements of it that are decentralized, but there's others that are not, this kind of guidance will be key for knowing, okay, what changes do we need to make to ensure that we are decentralized, so we don't fall under a security.
And I would say, where he said Bitcoin and Ethereum are decentralized, but why? What's the mark that they meet? Because many people argue that Bitcoin's not that decentralized. If you look at the mining pools, same thing when you look at Ethereum. And I mean, so many cryptos have foundations, and where is this?
Where's the line?
Where is this? This nirvana decentralization that protocols must meet by your standard, when this is many projects are centralized right now so they can get up off the ground.
Well, I'll make a prediction. I don't think we'll get clear guidance on these questions, because keeping it fuzzy and having it uncertain and having no clear line is exactly the wiggle room the regulators are going to require, so that they don't inadvertently sign off on a particular protocol and put it into the bucket of decentralized and out of our jurisdiction, right? Not a security, not under the CFTC, not a commodity. if the second they give that guidance and we know where the line's at and we meet that criteria, now we've removed that project from being potentially regulated and under their purview. And that's the very opposite thing they want. They don't want to create certainty. They want to draw some vague line that they can always keep vague so nobody can theoretically cross it.
And I would say also, give a time frame. Don't start now. You should be like something that we're looking at, and this is the right. You said the standards, but also a grace period. There should be grace. There should be grace for new technology. It's just so silly when you got traditional financial markets just failing all over the place, and then you're hammering out with new ways to try to regulate and something that is brand new. It's regular and it's fixing itself if you just let it go. It's figuring itself out. Let the baby walk. Well,
at the end of the day, it's political. It's what do you believe that society should give space for disruptive or innovative or challenging new technologies that upset legacy systems, or do you think that those things should be kept in a box that the wise bureaucrats and technocrats are able to only expose in certain ways and with tight controls, and so that we protect. So it's a very philosophical thing. Or do you believe in is how much do you trust?
And I think it's knowledge is power. I think it's because I think even Gary Gensler. He has a perspective, and he also has a mind that has to wrap himself around so much of what his job entails. I couldn't even begin what it's like to live one day in the life of Gary Gensler and what he has to communicate, the TPS sheet that needs to know whatever.
Yeah,
I'm saying that's true. But seriously. So the reality is, I think it's about taking the time to educate and show people like him and Yellen and others, because they're just like your moms and your dads and your uncles and your brothers and your friends, and they're just people that are working in positions too. And you know what? With all respect due, for over 100, for a long time, the SEC and the Treasury Department were the pinnacle of oversight to make sure that things were okay.
Yeah.
In a monopolistic traditional, they grew up. Yellen and Gensler grew up in the same world you and I grew up in, where there was no blockchain alternative. What are you talking about? So they've been responsible. It's like if your whole life you've been responsible for protecting something and protecting something and protecting them, being educated to understand how the game theory and is different, and allowing it to flourish is more of protection. Like many ways,
So we need to be patient with them, and as we help educate ourselves and everyone else together.
Totally, because even now, paperwork and directives come across their desk. It's not like they still have a job right now to do as in their line of work, and it's not to get a Ethereum MetaMask wallet and experiment with locking liquidity. Oh wow, this is really amazing. Oh wow, I wonder what we can do to help get gas fees down. Hey, SEC committee, learn what we can do to help make gas fees.
Just cut out. Are you there, Luke?
Oh yeah. Hello.
We just had a momentary.
Are you there? Hello. Uh-oh.
I hear you now.
Cool. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit.
Okay,
Lost you.
We're back. Pardon?
Okay.
But yeah.
We're back.
Ooh.
Maybe close out osmosis. I feel like that's heavy.
Let me do that. Closed.
Cool.
And I'll close out of the DAOs that Jacob will be around to talk with later, and the map of zones. We covered that, which is beautiful.
Yeah, that was cool.
Decentralized autonomous organizations, a major value of cryptocurrency, and Jacob has some articles that he will pop up and talk about next time. We made it through. That's our, and you mentioned this, Ryan. I have this quote of the article. We'll move on to the next one. Please provide detailed answers so that innovators have the guidance they need to ensure domestic investment and innovation in these technologies. Right. Allow a gateway. It doesn't make sense for one man to prevent a whole population from having access to a new technology. That's silly.
Right.
That is absolutely silly for
You know what else is
all the men and women who may know more and who may have access and be involved and who may have been Bitcoin miners, and to be sitting here
Right.
not allowed to support a growing technology because of a political position someone was appointed to for a few
And
years.
here's another level of it that's silly.
We're better
to
now.
make
We're
to
better.
make and it's silly to make a rule and then enforce a rule that you won't clarify.
And
That's
you won't
silly.
clarify, and I'm not going to tell you right. Well, that's
It's
because
like, I'm going to
they
hold
need
this
to.
standard. I'm going to hold you to this standard. I'm going to take your assets, maybe put you in jail, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what the standard is.
Yeah.
So have fun with that.
So he's right. There are many projects that are like casino chips. I wouldn't say stable. I mean, look, stable coins being over collateralized. I think that hopefully someone in politics should nudge him and be like, hey, this is one of the best things that's happened to the U.S. economy since oil was the reserve currency. Shh, be quiet.
Right.
Someone needs to nudge Gary Gensler and be like, do you recognize that all these stable coins are backed by, they're over collateralized by treasury bonds and corporate bonds?
Here's what I would say.
It's like, this is literally an investment in the U.S. economy. So let it go, bro. Let it go.
If you're looking at crypto and you're concerned about risk and potentially gambling or very risky investments, stablecoins is pretty much the last thing you should be looking at, because they're over, like you said, over collateralized. These are one of the more safer plays in crypto.
Right.
And so that's where it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. The arguments don't make sense.
They don't make sense
at the surface level. You either have to presume that they're just profoundly ignorant, which I don't,
or they're purposely misleading and speaking to an ignorant population. Because don't forget that most people who don't know anything about cryptocurrency are listening to what Gary Gensler says about, well, I heard that stable coins are a security. That general person who repeats that has no idea what a stable coin is in the realm of blockchain and cryptocurrency. That's why I pull this back up. As cryptocurrency markets plummet, let them plummet and wait until they finish the blood in the streets. These are the opportunities of the future. But stable coins are literally nothing more than decentralized blockchain representations of a $1. That's it. All the different versions of a stable coin are different
We're starting
iterations.
to get lag again. I think nomics is too much for us to handle right now.
Popping it off. Lag. We're jumping down and moving through, brother. Okay.
Here we go. So I don't know if we've heard about this, but this is a story that came out, I think today. Yeah, an Ethereum developer, Virgil, is pleading guilty in a conspiracy charge that's related to his speech he gave at a cryptocurrency convention in North Korea. And this is all about the sanctions that the U.S. has on North Korea, making it illegal for U.S. citizens to do any sort of trade or exchange with North Korea, which includes selling your personal services. So when he gave this speech, that was considered to be some sort of commerce with North Korea.
I wonder if if he received something, or if he could have done that as a show of a Nobel Prize of like, if it's education and to promote the benefit of technology and knowledge, is there a way because Dennis Rodman was able to go over there for something and talk about a bunch of stuff.
I think it all depends on who's paying you and how are you being paid, or who's that it's really about the commercial aspect of it.
There must be some commercial payment violation, because you should be able to go to any country and be like, hey everyone, I know that your political system is different than what I was raised to understand, but guess what? Rubbing two sticks together starts fire, and that can keep you warm in the wintertime, which we all experience. Or blockchain can make you better off as a form of decentralized communication if you know how to build code and you want to promote transparency. Well,
one level of the complication on this is that this individual gave these speeches while he was living in Singapore. Yeah, in Singapore.
Yeah.
So he was not even. I mean, he's a citizen of the United States, but it's unsure whether or not I don't know if he's an expat or if he's in some kind of process to get dual citizenship or not, or if there's or if he's purely living as a U.S. citizen abroad or what. But there could be questions about jurisdiction here, whether or not he well,
there's no questions anymore.
Apply.
I mean, he pled
So
guilty
I think there's
because
a lot of elements into this case that are interesting.
he
But it definitely seems that
because it's a plea deal, obviously.
it's about the commercial level of it, not so much just giving.
Oh man, we're struggling, brother. Feel like I need to reset my internet, and we're millstream. Hopefully you come back on this Zoom, because let me see how the stream is doing. How's the stream quality? Please check video resolution. Maybe you can exit and come back on. Yep, that is what just happened. It might be on his end. So pardon the technical difficulties. Hopefully within a few minutes, Ryan will be back to join us. But without further ado, this is about Virgil Griffith. He pleads guilty, obviously pleading guilty, maybe not necessarily because he feels that he has done something so wrong, but when you look at the plea deal and the alternative, and it may be the best option. So, conspiracy charge in North Korea, sanctions case. I do not conspire with anyone or anyone working in any position of authority, working for any nation state, and I would like to keep it that way. So please refrain from emailing us about any conspiracies. We don't wish to get involved with conspiring. That's better, brother.
I guess I had some technical issues. I'm back.
You're back. I was just explaining to our Wise Beyond Bitcoin community and audience that we aren't whales and we don't conspire with anyone of any political authority in a nation state, and we're not here to, However, we hope to be able to speak about the love of this technology to men and women all around and over the world, regardless of what nation state and regardless of what statutory capacity you serve. If you're a judge, if you're a politician, if you're a doctor, if you're none, if you're out there, supporting people by feeding them and growing food from the ground up, or keeping the systems functioning and people able to move, you know what? You deserve knowledge and the love that has to bring too. So, with no more sanctions on this live stream, we talk about that. Bitfinex.
This one's a big story.
Do it.
All right, so there was a transaction over the Ethereum network that was $100,000 worth of Ethereum, and some kind of mistake occurred, whether it's, we'll get to the details on that, but some sort of a mistake happened, and $23 million was paid in gas to validate this transaction on the Ethereum network for $100,000. So this is the largest gas fee that's ever occurred, and it's kind of a mystery exactly what happened. There's talk of it was somebody's fat finger, which is a bit of a joke. I guess it just means a human error, but yeah, massive gas fees. And what I thought was funny was because we were told that the EIP 1559 upgrade was going to reduce gas fees, and here we are now seeing the highest gas fees ever. And this is a joke because, of course, this is an accident and not something that you should get used to seeing.
However, it shows the risk. So, by the way, if you're wondering what's risky about cryptocurrency, if you go to customize your gas fees and you mess a fat finger, or you mess up and you're not aware of what you're doing, you can accidentally spend the bulk of your money, your assets, your digital assets, on a transaction fee unwittingly. And this is the early part of a technology. It's like if you're in a car before seatbelts. Yeah, cars are great, but there aren't seatbelts or windshield wipers, and driving in the rain, the storm on roads that aren't paved yet. There are risks involved. So obviously this is an exchange, but there had to be that amount of money. But that hurts, that hurts. That's going to cost big time. And
yeah.
So my heart goes out to those at Bitfinex and those who work there and those who are members of their services. I hope this doesn't hit you too hard, but yeah, moving on. Cardano developers can now leverage Chainlink for better smart contracts. I mean, Chainlink is beast mode in crypto. So is Cardano. And there's a little harmonious union between the two. What do you have on this, brother?
Well, nothing too much. I would just kind of explain basically what's going on here for people if they don't know. Chainlink's an oracle, so it's a protocol for accessing off-chain data, and then for the use of smart contracts. So, say you're doing a contract, and it's contingent on a certain real-world price event, right? Say it's contingent on a price going to a certain level. Well, the oracle can go and reference indexes and exchange different websites which would have the price data, and it can go fetch that price data and then confirm it for the contract, right? So it's a data. It's all about getting data and incorporating it that's outside the blockchain and making it usable in smart contracts on the blockchain. And so if you're curious what an oracle does, that's essentially the long and short of it.
And Chainlink is the premier blockchain oracle service. So yeah, this is beautiful.
Very bullish for Cardano. This next one is fun. Story about NFTs, because we love talking about NFTs.
We do.
And their legitimization, increasing legitimization over time.
Here we go. This is a beautiful, new, beautiful, art. What is it? What kind of art? Who's the curator?
It's called Art Basel, and it's a group of very elite people, and they had a showing, I guess. What's it called in art world? A gallery. Yeah, they had a gallery. That's the term.
I'll be right back, brother. I'm gonna let you carry this for 1 minute. I have to handle something, but go ahead, keep talking.
Do your thing. So we have people at this event, such as Princess Eugenie, who's daughter of Prince Andrew, and a lot of this is the blue bloods, the elites, and this is another story that comes on the heels of similar stories regarding Christie's and Sotheby's and how they've been promoting and doing auctions for NFTs. So what we're seeing is that the elite of the art community is now taking note of the NFT space, and that's interesting, especially very bullish if you were an early CryptoPunk holder or any of the other projects that are out there that are popular. You'll know that the NFTs have gone up in value quite a bit. And when you have the tastemakers of society focusing on it and continuing to promote these things, it bodes well for future appreciation. Of course, that's not investment advice.
No, but
just looking at the fundamentals. But it's definitely optimistic.
And you're right, it's building value on the blockchain. I mean, if someone could take a Picasso and put on the blockchain, as long as people value a Picasso, then there's going to be a value on that blockchain. So the more art, the more music, the more titles, the more value that's locked on the blockchain, the more valuable those blockchains will become. So it's just beautiful to see it continue to grow and continue to advance. We have, speaking of growing and advancing, now, Reddit as a social media platform has been one of the most on fire communities, innovative in sharing grassroots information. I mean, I don't know a lot or enough about it, but I've talked to people who have been around it for years, and I've read articles. I mean, they've got everything from memes and jokes to detailed outlooks on what's going on in markets. I mean, we're talking about Reddit community that was responsible for the recent short squeeze that was talked over all of mainstream media. So that community responsible for that is turning its attention to crypto. What do you think about that, brother?
Well, I love it. It's I'm gonna have to join that subreddit. To be honest with you, it's they were hesitant in the initial incarnation of Wall Street Bets to have a space for crypto discussion. I guess they were thinking maybe it was kind of scammy or kind of fly by night, or another what's the word, rife with Ponzi schemes and pump and dumps and rug pulls and all that. But as time's gone on, they've realized that the mainstream legacy markets are way more, are just as given to these flaws as any other, and that there is an underlying value story playing out in the crypto world as this new industry emerges, this whole new asset class emerges, whether it's NFTs and DeFi and lending, borrowing, and all that. It's so they're seeing that it's a legitimate thing and it's worth paying attention to. So they're creating a whole subreddit just for crypto, and all the all the people who can contribute to that will just enrich each other's knowledge, and we can start crowdsourcing our opinions and our knowledge of this, because there's so much going on. It's impossible for anybody to catch it all, and we can teach each other. And these subreddits are precisely for that. That's what this is all about.
Well, shout out to Devin and the work that we've got going on there with specific knowledge. It just seems like a perfect example of why we promote an atmosphere of allowing so many people to explore and build value. There's too much to monitor. The market's too big. So there's so much to learn. It's great to have such a large, bright, intelligent, and well-researched community and computer savvy put their focus on looking at the metrics and what's going on with blockchain and how to add value to crypto. That's huge. So welcome to crypto if you're not already involved. Wall Street Bets Redditors. I need to work on my Reddit skills while you work on your crypto
This brings
skills.
us to the final article, the one I've been excited for all day.
And me too. This is one of our favorites, and why we stick to fundamentals and refrain from trying to get people emotional on the dopium hopium of, oh, look at this chart and look at this volume and look at what's going to happen tomorrow. Support me, donate here. My technical analysis will get you rich, but don't forget to take profit, and don't forget things can change at any time. So when you don't get rich, it's not...
Don't blame me.
Yeah. Well, here's where you should get your information from.
Oh, this hamster, right?
Let's
get into this.
Let's do it.
All right, so there's this hamster named Mr. Gox, which is cute, and they've created there's some individuals who've created a cage that he can go in, and there's a wheel, and the wheel, as he plays on the wheel, there's he'll jump off and it'll select one of 30 cryptos. So the wheel selects which crypto that he's going to trade, the hamster's going to trade, and then after playing on the wheel, there's two tunnels, a left tunnel and a right tunnel. And depending on which tunnel he goes through, it'll trigger either a sell or a buy order. And through just playing, the hamster is selecting a trade, not a very complicated trade, but just a buy or sell on a certain crypto, 1 out of 30. And through these essentially random experiments, this hamster is beating Berkshire Hathaway and the S&P 500. And so, what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that throwing a dart at the wall of 30 cryptos during this moment is sufficient to pick a winning strategy that can probably beat the S&P 500 and most hedge funds. And that tells you two things. One, we're in a unique moment where we're in essentially it's a bull market. You could say not at the moment it's not, but if you zoom out and look where we at, week by week, month by month, the kind of growth that's happening here is extraordinary, and it's not just a normal. We're not seeing a standard cycle that you would see in the S&P 500 or something else. The level of growth and appreciation is off the charts, and so much so that even a hamster can pick a winning portfolio.
Now, this article being misunderstood has led to increasing hamster sales all over the country, right?
Right.
And hamster thievery and hamster napping.
All-time high.
Hamster napping is at an all-time high. So be very careful. If your children have hamsters, make sure you lock their windows to keep the hamsters safe, of course.
I think this is a funny way to say this hamster experiment is a bit like the random walk hypothesis, but put into put into motion in a unique way.
That's what I love about it, and we're going to continue to come back to this because why we like to talk about fundamentals and long-term support of blockchain and through understanding and not through technical casino gambling is that in finance, the most prominent, the most successful model philosophy for gauging the price, and here we see Crypto Hamster proves this, but it's the random walk. It's saying that the price tomorrow is going to be whatever it is today, and beyond that randomness, there's really no educated model that is better than that. And we do know that the price is not going to be the same tomorrow as is today. It's always changing, but we change in degrees. And when the changes come, they come sudden and fast. So you're better off just stating, it'll be the same as tomorrow. It'll be the same as tomorrow. Sure, you're going to miss out on the big one, but that averages out to being more accurate. So I would say take the technical time, take the information on the technical side with a grain of salt, and take everything that we say with the grain of salt
too. This kind of reminds me of what our mutual friend Bill Stevens would say, that don't confuse a bull market with brains, or also don't confuse a hamster that can outperform the S&P with brilliance.
What a way to end it. Don't confuse a bull market with brains, and don't confuse a hamster for a rodent with brilliance. I mean, they are beautiful animals, and they're perfect as they are. But I would say do your research and don't put it all on the hamster wheel.
Right.
I think we've covered a lot of the information that we wanted to for this weekly update, and some of the major pumps: IBC Network, Luna, Avalanche, Solana. DeFi is getting a lot of support, obviously, and moving forward. I guess we can finish off with a little bit of a market recap before we go to, and say, look, the projects that have shown strength in the last week and look potentially moving forward, blockchain, obviously Bitcoin, X, and Ethereum, but Cardano, Solana, which is still showing, Polkadot. There's a lot of beautiful work to unfold on Polkadot as Kusama's seeing growth with its parachain auctions, Polkadot having those coming out soon. Luna, beautiful project with their decentralized stablecoins. Avalanche. Yep. Algorand, it's what articles you find? They're doing a DeFi or had some kind of major grant.
Tiny, isn't that Tiny Man on Algorand?
Yes. I gotta check that out.
We'll do that next time.
Okay. Chainlink, we just talked about that. Cosmos, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. There's just so much. There's just so much going on. Tezos, Theta, it's happening. It's happening. You're still in the beginning. Take your time to learn. Take your time to earn.
And don't buy tops.
But if you do, hodl out and don't worry, and be ready to also buy the middles and the dips. You see red right now. This is an opportunity. Absolutely. I would say Bitcoin at 42 is an opportunity. Could this drop to 30 and 28 and 25? Yes. And I would say Bitcoin, those ranges are an opportunity.
Really good buy. Yeah.
Because I'm in the camp, and this is not really, I'm not going out on a limb here, because you look at the cryptocurrency community in general and you'll find this sentiment. Also, when you look at the news that we continue to talk about week after week with the institutional support it's getting, I'm of the view and the perspective that this technology is going to be around for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
And as it grows, as it's around, adoption will grow. And as adoption grows, the value of these networks will grow. So I look forward to seeing how that race comes out and these networks promote or actually create value. I like to see how different blockchains actually show up, like Uniswaps actually show up and say, look at what I'm doing to create value to the network.
Solve problems.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun Monday. We captured and recovered a whole lot of content, and we're trying out a new time. So give us some feedback if you feel one way or another about that.
We do
Otherwise,
it. We do it because for those of you who are nonstop on the crypto, you can jump in. Obviously, it's live stream, but we're focusing on it's the weekly update and market recap. What's going on in the crypto world? And so, for those of you who don't have time to get involved, you can watch it at your own leisure when you get off of work. For the 9-to-5ers out there, we do it early to promote active engagement for the crypto enthusiast, and we also want to have time for those people to watch it later in the day, to be there at your leisure throughout. So we look forward to timestamping stuff more, and also having links below so you can also check out these articles and these protocols at your leisure too. So thank you for your time. We appreciate the thumbs up, the sharing, the notification bell, and your feedback. A comment is always loved and appreciated. And we appreciate your involvement, and more importantly, in crypto, and letting us know what you know, because we're all learning this together. Thank you. Until the next time, have a beautiful day. Namaste. And that'll be me. I'm going to let... Oh, look. As soon as we say goodbye, Jacob comes popping up. Jacob.
Hey, Jacob.
Jacob, we're about to say goodbye and exit the stream.
Oh.
Unless you guys... I have some stuff to do. If you guys are, welcome to continue if you want.
I need to get back to some stuff as well.
Okay.
We could do another video on specifically on the DAOs. Does that sound amenable to you, Jacob?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because we want to start doing, we're talking about that. We're going to start pumping out not just these live streams that we do every week, but we're going to start pumping out videos to drop. So hit the notification bell and subscribe, because we will be doing technical videos on certain cryptos. And Jacob has pulled up some information on the DAOs, and we'll do that. I'll get together with you that in the next few days. Let's just pump a video on those articles you popped out, and we'll drop that on the channel here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
So
You have a good day at work, Jacob.
yeah, man, it's good to see you, Jacob, and thank you for popping on. We were just gonna end it. It's been let's see, how long have we been rolling this?
Almost 2 hours.
It's been almost 2 hours, so we've been filibustering it in it to win it. We'll get the DAO. If you want to learn more about decentralized autonomous organizations and their role in crypto and blockchain, which is huge, because I can remember since 2017. Aragon and other projects were using blockchain to pioneer DAOs. So stay tuned, because Jacob and Wise Beyond Bitcoin is going to catch you up on DAOs and blockchain. So until the next time, I'm going to say have a beautiful day and namaste. Ryan, I'm going to let you go out with it. And then Jacob, say your piece too, brother. I'm glad you had time to make it on, my friend.
Well, if you stayed for the whole 2 hours, I thank you. And if you're a routine viewer, I also thank you. And we'll see you next Monday.
Hopefully, I'm going to find the time to make it in for the next episode.
We'll time it. You'll make it happen, brother.
We'll make it happen.
Adios. Thanks, guys.